Shaquille O'Neal is set out to conquer the best athletes in the world at their own sport.
I can do it all.
And it all starts when he battles quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. It's on. ABC's Shaq versus. Series premiere Tuesday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Thanks for making K2 News the #1 newscast at 6:30.
You've seen those massive wind farms, but what about green technology right to the heart of the city? The plan to create an urban wind farm.
Plus, a bizarre attack in Oregon City where a 14-year-old is the victim of a stabbing. We have new information just in from police. First at 4 starts right now.
Live in HD, this is K2 News First at 4 on your side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to K2 News First at 4. I'm Angelica Thornton.
And I'm Steve Dunn. Brian Wood is off today. Thank you very much for being with us. And First at 4 today, playing with fire, an exercise in wildland firefighting, helps homeowners in one southeast Portland neighborhood. K2's Jeff Yeager joins us live now at Powell Butte Nature Park, where 40 acres were set on fire. What happened there, Jeff?
Yeah, Steve and Angelica, you can see across this portion of the field, it's completely gone. The fire just went right through this entire area, burning everything. And you can see some crews are still on the scene out here, mopping up a few hot spots. But they used this entire burn as a chance to practice for the real thing. Fire crews set fire to the brush up here on Powell Butte for multiple reasons, one of which was to help the Parks Bureau control invasive plant species, and then another reason was to control brush that would only add fuel to an actual wildfire. So the Fire Bureau used this as a perfect opportunity to train their firefighters how to control wildland fires. They lit 2 separate areas, one on top of the butte and then a canyon on the east slope where you can see just how close those homes are to parks. And back here live, you can see again, crews are scattered along the ridge line over here. You can see areas where there's still a lot of grass that wasn't burnt. And the Fire Bureau tells me that they're actually kind of lucky because a lot of this is still wet from the recent rain that we had. So though they expected a lot of this to burn, parts of it didn't even catch fire just because they were too moist. Now, coming up later at 5, Powell Butte is in the middle of a neighborhood, of course. There are homes on all sides of it. So the concerns that homeowners had about fires up here and why they're thankful that this was done here today.
Jeffrey, before you go, what about the Parks Department and that scorched earth? What are their plans there?
Well, one of the plans, of course, was to take care of those invasive species, and now you can see the land is completely bare. What they tell us they plan to do is they plan to plant over 900 oak trees in and around this entire area to create essentially an oak grove up here on top of Powell Butte. Steve?
Interesting to watch that development there, Powell Butte. Jeff, thank you very much.
Now to our new economy and new unemployment numbers out today for the state of Oregon. The rate for July comes in at 11.9%, nearly unchanged from the June figure of 12%. It's been around 12% since March, following a steep increase during the previous 9 months. It is the 3rd highest nationwide. The state economist says while the recession is coming to an end, job growth won't come until the end of the year at the earliest. And it appears consumers may not be trusting the economic recovery, so investors aren't trusting consumers to spend. The results today on Wall Street, a big drop that sent the Dow down 186 points. The NASDAQ lost 55 points and the S&P 500 fell 24 points.
Let's check in now on another pair of top stories at this hour. The city of Portland is considering allowing wind turbines not just on top of big buildings, but even your house. Plus, the salmon steelhead counts in for the year, and it is a big one, even record-breaking. Here's K2's Bob High with that story.
The number of steelhead salmon actually returning here through Bonneville Dam has been amazing. The dam was built in 1938, and ever since then they've been keeping records. The record previous to this was 14,000 steelhead in one day. Now they've set a record, first of all, of 18,000. That made them actually go back and check the numbers because they really didn't believe there were that many. Since then, they've had another record, 34,000 steelhead salmon coming through the Bonneville Dam fish ladder on both sides of the Columbia River. One of the reasons that this is happening, they think, is when these salmon went out to the ocean, they actually had good ocean conditions. That helped survival rates. On top of that, there have been water releases from the dams to help fish passage. They think that also is another factor in all this. But what is clear is that this is having a dramatic effect on the number of fish here. They think also that this may be an ongoing species-wide kind of phenomenon where all the numbers are up. They'll wait till the end of the season to see if that happens. But what is clear is they've almost reached their prediction of 350,000 fish this year in just the short time that the run has been going on. At Bonneville Dam, Bob High, KATU News.
When you hear the word wind turbine, you likely think of those gigantic ones in places like the Gorge. Well, this too is a wind turbine. It's here in City Hall to promote the idea that Portland may change the zoning to allow these in neighborhoods like this. Imagine looking out and seeing an urban wind farm. That's the idea here. Now, we know we don't live in the windiest of cities, but the designers of this say even a slight breeze like we're seeing today is enough to generate electricity to offset what you use in your home. It also is enough to generate excitement about alternative forms of electricity and to increase entrepreneurship for other ideas. If you're interested in the Planning Commission's meeting, it's August 25th. In Northeast Portland, Anita Kasey, KATU News.